City comes now the new Mr. Ace and Jane program, a weekly half-hour comedy series starring radio's original comedy couple, the Aces. Once again, the strains of Manhattan Serenade introduce the story of Mr. Ace and his wife, Jane. Tonight, Chapter 1, entitled Jane's Brother Paul, who hasn't worked in 12 years, tries to borrow $200 from Mr. Ace. And Mr. Ace says, why don't you go to work? And Paul says, don't use that four-letter word in front of my sister. Or, as Mr. Ace would put it,
am I my brother-in-law's keeper? Let me tell you exactly what happened. First, I want to say that the characters in this story are not fictitious. Very often, I wish to heaven they were, especially Jane's brother, Paul. Although Paul is allergic to work and is the laziest guy I know, I must admit he is obnoxious. Paul never shows it, but I know he hates me.
I never show it, but I hate him.
He can't stand the sight of me.
I can't stand the sight of him.
Behind my back, he calls me names.
Communist.
12 years ago, Paul was in a little automobile accident. He's been collecting $10 a month on a little insurance policy. But if he ever goes to work, they'll stop paying him that big $10 annuity, so he can't work. The guy was lucky enough to have escaped out of the accident alive, and now he wants to be paid for it. That's robbing St. Peter to pay Paul. The one I really feel sorry for is Paul's wife, Arlene. She's been married 10 years and has always been destitute.
I've been married 10 years and have always been destitute.
She never has any new clothes.
I never have any new clothes.
She's too old to go to work.
I never have any new clothes.
How do they live? Well, you've heard of people who live by their wits. Paul lives by his wits. Of course, with him, that's only half living. The other half, Jane takes care of. Jane and I are the typical average married couple living in a typical little eastern town of New York City. Population 7 million. Give or take one. And if you're going to take one, take my brother-in-law. Or, for that matter, take Jane. When Jane makes up her mind to do something for Paul, she does it.
When I make up my mind to do something for Paul, I do it.
She's completely uninhibited.
I'm completely uninhabited.
And her arguments are unequivocally irrefutable.
Yes.
I should have suspected something the day we got married 15 years ago. The day Paul asked if he could come along on our honeymoon. And I said, no. And Jane said, oh, let him come along, dear. He's never been on a honeymoon. And I should have suspected something the other night after dinner when Jane and I were sitting around the living room, and Jane gave me that guess who routine. It went something like this.
Well, dear, guess who called me up today?
Rochelle Hudson.
No.
I give up.
My brother Paul.
Oh? How much did he want this time?
Oh, he's fine.
No, I say...
Arlene's fine, too.
Yes, I say how
much...
much...
You know that next week they will have been married 10 years? My, how time flies.
Yeah.
It seems like only a year ago they were married only 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when he told me 10 years, you could have knocked me down with a fender. I said, Paul, you mean to say that you've been... Now, just a minute, dear. What did you mean, how much did he want? Who said anything about money?
Oh, then he didn't want any money.
Who said he didn't?
Well, which is it?
$200.
Jane, I'm not going to give it to him. Why doesn't the guy go to work?
Oh, now, dear, you know there are many reasons.
I'd like to hear them.
Well, the third reason is because...
Wait just a minute. What happened to Win and Place?
Beg pardon?
What are the first two reasons?
Well, first, because he was sick last year.
Oh, sure.
You know, he was just about to get a job when he got intentional flu.
I knew you'd finally come up with the right word.
Well, the flu isn't to be sneezed at.
What's another good reason?
Well, like Paul says, what's the dollar worth today? Practically nothing.
Oh, he's not going to work until the dollar gets back to what it should be worth.
Yes, 57 cents.
Of course, naturally.
You remember how we used to be able to get meat and butter practically au gratin?
Au gratin?
Free.
Free, naturally, yeah.
Well, Paul says if you'll lend him $200, he'll be forever indebted to you.
Forever is what I'm afraid of.
He needs it for something very important. He didn't want to tell me in front of Arlene, but he'll tell you when he comes to see you at 9:30 tomorrow at your office.
Jane, I haven't got $200 to throw away.
What's not throwing it away? Are you insinuating that my brother isn't going to pay you back?
Oh, no, of course not. He's as good as gone. Gold.
Why, he's as good as the Bank of England.
That's what I mean. As usual, when I get into an argument with Jane about her brother, I ran second and paid $2.80 to place. Because the next morning when I got to my office, I ought to tell you this, I work in the advertising business. Make a nice living, minus withholding and Social Security. It's a pretty fair job. Of course, Jane always exaggerates my importance there by telling everybody I'm a big cog in the machinery.
He's a big clog in the machinery.
The only thing I can't stand about the job is my secretary, Miss Anderson. Why don't I get rid of her? She's a cousin of Jane's, twice removed. That is, I removed her twice, but Jane got her back 3 times. With the score now 3-2 in her favor, Miss Anderson practically runs the office her way.
I practically run the office my way.
She never thinks of me as her boss.
I never think of him as my boss.
She considers me primitive in my business methods and practically a Neanderthal in this atomic age.
He's a schmo.
Oh, she's a doll. D-U-double-L. So I got to my office about 9:30 the next morning, and I asked Miss Anderson if there had been any calls.
Oh, yes, Sam Davis called.
Sam Davis? Who's he? What did he want?
Well, he wanted a date for Saturday night. So I told him I was going to the movie Saturday night with Bill Wilson.
Yes, I know.
And I gave him Wednesday night. We're going dancing. Sam's an awfully good dancer, much
look,
better than Bill. And Sam...
Miss Anderson, please, any sideline calls? I mean, for me, the advertising business, you remember?
Oh, let me see. There was somebody. What was it now?
Isn't that awful? Well, if it comes to you, Miss Anderson, you'll be in touch with me. I'll just go into my office and wait.
Oh, sure. I'll let you know if it comes to me.
Isn't that awful?
Well, there you are. Is that a nice thing to do? Keep your brother-in-law waiting.
Oh, Miss Anderson, is this the...
Oh, yes, that's it. Your brother-in-law's waiting in your office to see you.
Yeah. Miss Anderson, take a left.
I was just congratulating your husband on a fine job he did for our cigarette account.
Oh, it was nothing really, Mr. Norris.
Nothing, he says. Don't let his modesty fool you, Mrs. Ace.
All right.
Jane, ask him about
I can safely say at this point that your husband is the most valuable man in our shop. Give credit where credit is due, I always say.
You do? I always say feed a cold and starve a fever.
Jane, please.
I hope you're as proud of him as I am, Mrs. Ace.
Oh, I am.
Jane, ask him to sign the...
Once again, congratulations, Mr. Ace.
Well, thanks, but...
Oh, congratulations, dear.
Well, thanks, Jane.
Jane, will you ask him to sign
This campaign will make you famous, Mr. Ace. How about it, Mrs. Ace? Your husband's a celebrity.
Oh, now,
Oh,
please.
celebrity. Oh, dear, I'm so proud of you. It's like having a movie star in the family.
Movie star. I suppose next you'll be asking for my autograph.
Jane, how about getting him to sign the...
Autograph? Yes, that's an idea. Give me your autograph, dear.
Oh, now, Jane, that's carrying a joke
But,
too
dear,
far.
you're a celebrity.
I know.
Go
but
ahead,
here-
Mr. Ace. Give your wife your autograph.
But, Mr. Norris, oh, this is
Here you are,
embarrassing.
dear, on this piece of paper. Right here. Here's your pen.
Oh, I feel kind of idiotic, but if you insist. What is this paper I'm...
Go ahead. Sign your name.
All right, here you are. This kind of silly autograph to my own wife.
That's it. Now, thanks, dear. Give me that.
Nice work,
What was that piece of paper, Jane?
Well,
that you
Mrs.
get...
Ace, let's clear out and leave the big man to his own thoughts. Confidentially, I think he wants to be alone.
Yes, that's exactly where I'm...
All announcers, Ken is always spelling out everything. He's sort of a ham.
I'm a sort of a ham. Ham is spelled H-A-M.
He's always practicing his commercials to Jane.
If you're not satisfied, return the unused portion of our product, and we will return the unused portion of your money.
So before Paul got to the house, Ken was visiting with Jane.
Hey, Jane, that's an attractive dress you're wearing today.
You do? Well, thanks. And may I return the compliment and say it's one of my favorites, too. Where have you been, Ken? Long face, no see.
Oh, you mean yesterday? Well, I was busy down at the studio all day practicing announcing. I stood in front of that microphone and gave it everything I had. Had is spelled H-A-D.
What did you announce?
Oh, anything that came to my mind. Mind is spelled M-I-N-D.
You mean you just made up commercials out of whole wheat?
Yeah. In a commercial, it doesn't matter what you say, just so you sell it. Like, this show is brought to you by the Krovna Company, makers of those delicious, tasty after-shaving lozenges. 4 out of 5 doctors have studied medicine. And remember our famous money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, you can get double your money back by writing direct to the Krovna Company, Newark, New Jersey, Post Office Box 27. I'll repeat that address. The Krovna Company, Dallas, Texas, Post Office Box 10. That's the Krovna Company, spelled C-O-M-P-A-N-Y, Company. Scientists have proved that 4 out of 5 is 80%.
Excuse me, Ken. There's somebody at the door.
A letter?
To China, and don't hurry back.
Very funny.
Well, brother, how's the world treating you?
Not very often.
I haven't seen you in some time. How long has it been?
Oh, about $25 ago.
25... Oh, Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Say, yes, it has been 90 days, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You're not worried about that 25, are you?
Oh, no, I took it off my income.
Oh, deducted it from your income tax, huh?
No, just from my income. Paul, would you mind taking your overcoat off my desk?
Oh,
got
sure,
to work
sure.
Here.
Excuse me. Recognize the overcoat?
Yes, I do.
2 winters ago.
Mhm.
Remember that cold winter and you were going to get a new coat, and you decided you might as well give me this one Jane told you?
Look, Paul, I'm quite busy this
You know
morning.
what I wish you'd get? A camel hair polo coat.
You know what I wish you'd get?
What?
To the point. You want me to give you $200. Is that it?
Not give, lend.
The answer is no.
Oh, now, wait a minute, brother. It isn't for myself I want the 200.
I haven't got 200.
It's for Arlene. We have a 10th wedding anniversary next Wednesday, and I want to get her something she needs pretty bad.
For $200.
Yeah. I'm getting her a tonsillectomy.
You're going to have your wife's tonsils removed as an anniversary present?
Why not? It's something practical.
Something she wouldn't buy for herself.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm going. Come on, Paul. See you later, dear.
All I can say in defense of my simpering self is that I am the first and only co-signer who ever signed his name, Sincerely Yours. I never would have known I even signed the thing if something hadn't happened a week later. Jane and I were sitting around the living room after dinner, and I was doing a little bragging. Jane, remember that cigarette campaign Mr. Norris congratulated me on about a week ago? He gave me a $500 bonus today. Pretty good, huh?
Yes, dear.
Well, is that the most enthusiasm you could work up? I thought at least you'd cheer.
Yippee, dear.
Well, thanks, if you can spare that. Or maybe this will brighten you up, though. I'm going to take 200 of this bonus and give it to Paul. Arlene does have to have her tonsils out, and as long as I
No,
have...
dear, you don't have to now.
But, Jane, it was only a week ago today that you came...
I know, dear, but Paul got that money already.
Where?
Last week. But I'll tell you what you can do.
No, I said where did Paul get...
You want to do somebody a favor. How about increasing my allowance?
Where did Paul get the two... Increasing your allowance? How much?
Oh, around $4.40 a week.
$4.40. How'd you arrive at that round figure?
Well, I might as well get this out of my cistern.
Okay, sister, and what is it?
I'll begin at the beginning.
Yes, you do that, Jane.
I'll make it short and sappy.
Nash.
Remember last week when I came to your office and you were a celebrity and you signed your autograph on a piece of paper I gave you?
Fine celebrity, yeah.
Well, that day you opened a charge account at the Confidential Loan Company.
Yeah, fine. I what?
Paul borrowed $200 and you autographed the note.
Oh, no.
That's the price of fame, dear.
Oh, no,
Oh,
Jane.
yes. And today they called up that Paul missed the first payment, $4.40.
And they expect me to make good on... I won't do it. I'll call Paul. I'll call the loan company. I'll call Arlene and tell her what her husband did. I'll call...
There's one call you forgot, dear.
What's that?
Well, while you're at it, call the doctor and tell him to put Arlene's tonsils back.
Isn't that awful?
Next week, Chapter 2, entitled Jane Gets a Summons to Serve on a Jury, but she doesn't like the case being tried, so she goes upstairs and gets on another jury hearing a spicy divorce case, making it 11 on one jury and 13 on another. And Mr. Ace gets fined $50 for contempt of court. Or,
Is there no justice? Good night.
Good night.
this is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.